I'm Hammy, and today I'm testing this, the REVV1 from RIDE1UP. People absolutely love this bike, man. Everyone from customers to reviewers, even people on Reddit like this bike, man. I think a lot of that is due to the fact that this bike costs $1,000 less than its main competition, the Super 73 RX. The full suspension version is going to run you around $22.95, and if you want to spend a little bit less money, you can get the hardtail version of this bike, which costs around $17.95. So with this version, you're getting the 52-volt 20-amp-hour Samsung battery, which is also UL certified. You're also getting a 750-watt Bafang hub motor back there, which gets you to a top speed of around 35 miles an hour, and this bike's off-road mode, which is pretty quick. You're also getting these great lightweight Bafang magnesium wheels, and of course, like I already mentioned, fully adjustable suspension. These are all the topics I'm going to be going over in this video. Everything is going to be timestamped down below, and make sure you stick around for the point A to B race where I race against a pickup truck. This segment was a lot of fun, and the result may surprise you. So let's get started with by far the most important test.
Dude, I almost had you.
Alright, are you ready for the adrenaline rush of going the residential speed limit? Now, I cannot tell you how to get into off-road mode. They asked me not to tell you, and they're pretty serious about it. You know, there's a PI following me, and there's a sniper in the bushes over there. But if you do buy this bike, they will tell you how to do it. I think you have to sign a waiver or something like that, but if so, you will definitely want to, because this is a completely different bike in off-road mode. Anyway, so without further ado, let's have the ride of our life. Also going to put a little timer up here to see how quickly we get to our top speed. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, peeling off the line. We're already at 20 miles an hour. Moving forward. I am at full battery, as you can tell. There's 31. There is a bit of a headwind. 34, 35, 36. Okay, 37. I saw 37 flash. 37. Again, I do have a wind pushing against me here too. Almost at 38. What if I pedal? No, that was no help. That'd make things worse. 38. Woo. Okay. That's so loud. That's one of the noisiest skids I've heard from any e-bikes, probably because of how big these tires are. You could probably sneak up behind people and just stab on that brake and give them the fright of their life. I might do that. So there you go, as you saw, 38 miles an hour. Alright, the next step is to do it with this GPS tracker that for some reason is deciding not to work. I love when things, right when you need it to function, it decides not to. You know, when I was 15 years old, I was a road racer, and I was doing about 160 miles an hour on my Kawasaki ZX6, and here I am 10 years later doing 35 on an e-bike. Things just went so well for me. All sarcasm aside, it is pretty awesome how quick this thing is, and also how quick it is off the line. That was one of my biggest complaints about my Super 73 RX that I had about a year ago, is how slow and sluggish it was off the line. It felt like it took forever, whereas this gets off quickly. This bike actually has some guts, and it is a pleasant surprise. Oh, is it actually working now? Oh, it's working now. Look at that. Oh, f off. I don't want to pay $1 a month to use this stupid app. No, be gone. Just let me use your free functionality and steal my data. All right, gloves are going back on yet again. Another dangerous mission for E-Moto. Doing 35, the residential speed limit. Look at him, he's probably doing 55. That's a brave individual in his Dodge. Alright, so I do not have my phone clamp with me because I forget a lot of things. I actually forget what am I talking about? Okay, now I do not have my phone clamp. This is probably unsafe-ish, so do not recommend doing it. Do as I say, not as I do, but here we go. So far, so good. 25. Let's see if I can do 38 miles an hour again. 32, 33. Speedo is saying 35 on the bike, whereas my phone is saying 34, 35, okay, 36. 34 miles an hour is what the GPS is showing me. So that's not bad still. They made the correct claim.
Top speed, 35 to 38 miles an hour. Nice. Now, when you first get this bike, it's going to be in its standard Class 2 mode or pedal electric mode. You can easily change it to the bike's Class 3 mode, but I found that in both of these modes, the top speed on the throttle is around 20 miles an hour. I did also notice that the throttle response compared to off-road mode is a lot slower and smoother, so if you're a beginner rider or handing this off to a child, these are the modes that you should keep it in. There are of course also the 5 pedal assist modes that are there if you want to use them, but the REV1 isn't really intended to be a pedal bike. The pedals are more or less there so the 5.0 won't slam you on the hood of a squad car if they see you riding this on the road. After all, the main focus of this bike is to be an electric moped, so it's primarily designed to be driven by its throttle.
Alright, let's move on to the brake test. I currently have the bike in Class 3 mode because both Class 3 and pedal electric have the same top speed of 20 mile an hour according to my phone, but 25 according to this. Alright, here we go. That's top speed. It says 28, but it's probably more like 20. Okay, stop sign is telling me to stop. Okay, not sure how good that was. Okay, so now I'm back in off-road mode. I should have a top speed of around 35 mile an hour. So we'll see how well this thing stops. 36. And pretty good.
So now we have the top speed and brake test out of the way, let's dive deeper into the specs and features. Now I've already gone over battery, motor, and power specs on this bike, so now I'm going to discuss some things that maybe I haven't touched on yet. One of which is in fact this stylish beanie, right? It came in the battery and toolbox kit. I actually quite like it, I wear it pretty often. Anyway, let's dive deeper into some of the specs. First up is the brakes. They are 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes with a 203mm disc on them. Overall, they're a pretty decent quality. I wouldn't say it's the best that I've seen. As far as the functionality goes, they work pretty good, man. The bike slows down nicely. I haven't noticed any brake fade whatsoever. Moving on, you also get these nice indicators over here. I personally don't find myself using them all that much because I kind of forget that they're there. But if you're the safety first type of person, this is a nice standard feature. Another nice feature you get is the LCD screen right here. This is where you can adjust your pedal assist, check your speed, check your distances. Nothing too fancy, nothing crazy. You're not gonna be playing Candy Crush on it or anything like that, but it is a nice quality touch that I like very much. Moving on to the wheels, you have the CTS Scout brand. I don't really know much about this brand. A lot of Chinese bikes come with them. But they are a nice soft compound and they're perfect for riding on nice dry roads. I would be hesitant to call them all-terrain tires because they're not very good off-road. There are rumors that RIDE1UP is coming out with an off-road version of the REV1, so maybe that'll come with some better off-road tires. The overall bike weighs around 93 pounds, which I believe is 3 pounds more than the Super 73 RX, so if that bothers you, well, you gotta look elsewhere, I guess. It's also about 10 pounds heavier than the hardtail version of this bike. You also get these fenders that go around the tires. The one at the back in particular is huge. It is super long, so I'm gonna be taking that off to make the bike look a bit better, but yeah, overall they function very well as fenders. But by far the best feature on this bike that I love, and a lot of other people love, is the stock seat. Man, it's good. It is a great stock seat. I can find no reason to change that at all, at least for me. With this bike, you unfortunately only get one glorious sprocket down there that is only really useful until about 12 mile an hour. Anything above that, it's practically useless. But again, this is a moped. It's not really built to be a pedal bike, but if you were looking for a cassette on a bike like this, you're not gonna get it here. So that just about covers everything. There is one particular type of feature I have noticed this bike is missing, and that's anti-theft and security. As far as I can see, all you need to do is just hit the switch on the battery and push the button on the control module, and the bike is on and you can ride off with it. Now that is something maybe RIDE1UP will address in a later model, but I do think it's important for you as a consumer to be aware of that. You can of course just take the battery off and carry it with you if you want to be that guy, but that'll get annoying pretty quickly. Overall, it's a very comfortable ride and very comfortable size for most people. If you're above 6'5", obviously it might be a little bit awkward, but anybody from 5'6" to maybe even 6'2" should have no problem with the seat height on this bike.
Since I have the bike in off-road mode, I might as well test it on an off-road service. I'm going to take it off my electric motorcycle trail right here and see how it does. Now, I am fully aware that off-road isn't exactly where most of you are going to be riding this bike. It's going to be more likely around your suburban neighborhood, on the beach, underwater, I don't know, whatever you do with it. It's probably not going to be this, but to me, I want an electric bike that is at least capable of taking me up a relatively steep trail like this. And I can tell you so far already, this is doing miles better than my Super 73 RX would have done. My Super 73 RX was okay, but it was very, very slow. It had no torque, and it would just reluctantly climb itself up a hill. You know what I mean? Like, it would do it, but it's like going hiking with someone who complains a lot. I can tell you, even though this trail is quite steep, it's quite loose, lots of rocks. No pedaling, I'm gonna help it along a little bit now. It's not doing that bad of a job, it's pretty good. This is, again, not a trail I think most people would be riding this bike, but it is one of those tests that I think is still important to do. I also mentioned a bit earlier that you can get a hardtail version of this bike that does not come with the rear shock, and while that is significantly cheaper, and by all means go with what your wallet tells you to, I would always recommend the full suspension. And the suspension on this bike is by no means class leading. I would not be taking this bike to Glen Helen. You know, it's not a Sur-Ron, and nor is it capable of doing what a Sur-Ron does, but you do get a swing arm back there, which means that you can upgrade the suspension with your own money further down the road. Let's see how the REV1 can handle this trail. I definitely have too much air in the tires to really be doing this kind of stuff, but there we go through this bit. A lot of E-Motos have a hard time with this particular section, and I'm still going with the REV1, dude, not bad. It is definitely struggling. It's not what this bike is designed for, but it's getting up there, getting through these bumps and humps, not bad at all. All right, let's see how it handles going back down this particularly rocky trail. Already noticing that these tires are not cut out for this job, but not bad. Shocks aren't bad. The bike isn't bouncing like crazy. Yet again, this is another advantage to buying the full suspension to that hardtail, because that hardtail would have had a hard time getting through that. There we go, man, nice. Handling the rocks and the loose dirt quite well. These tires are a little bit slick. I can definitely feel the front tucking a bit, but not bad at all. This is gonna be the real test of the brakes right here, because I don't have any regen, so I'm basically just gonna be rolling down this hill, trying to avoid any brake fade I might get with this. I'm not feeling any mushiness, which is a good thing. They're reliable. I got plenty of grab left. Get through that bit. Front suspension absorbing that nicely. A little firm overall. The suspension is pretty firm. Like I said, it's not exactly class leading, but still pretty decent. This would be way more uncomfortable with the hardtail version. Whew, there we go, we are down the hill. Okay then, let's talk about range. Now, obviously there are a ton of different factors that go into range, from rider weight, how you ride it, how much elevation is in your terrain, political views. I mean, everything kind of comes in to a bike's overall range factors. Now, on the extreme end of things, if you're riding this bike full throttle in off-road mode on an arrow straight road until it absolutely dies, I would say 10 to 15, maybe even a little bit more depending on how your terrain is, but that's flat out in off-road mode, full throttle all the way. Again, the extreme end of things. Now, if you ride this bike like the way it's intended to be ridden, like what I'm doing now, around a suburb, casual, I would say RIDE1UP was pretty honest about the range numbers. You could easily get anywhere from 20 to 40 miles before you really have to turn back around. The most impressive part about the range on this bike, and this is usually a good way to tell how good an e-bike is how few times I found myself charging this bike. Like, I've been riding this thing every day for like the past 2 weeks doing all these tests, and I would say, like, man, I probably charged it up 3 times, maybe 4 times. That is definitely one thing I really like about this bike, especially when it comes to its range, is how few times I had to charge it or feel like I had to charge it. And I think that's what makes this bike really awesome. You can just go out, ride around for a bit, you know, a couple miles, come back to the garage and just leave it. You don't have to worry about constantly charging this thing like you do with the electric motorcycles that I ride. And that really just ups the convenience factor on this thing. You could put this bike in the back of your truck, go to a downtown city area and ride around all day and still have most of the battery left by the time you're done. Now, are the bikes out there with 2 batteries that get much better range? Of course. Obviously, if you want more range, go ahead and get one of those. For something in the price range with the power that it has to offer, there isn't really much that I've ridden that beats it, to be honest.
I did want to mention real quick that you can buy a battery balancer from RIDE1UP, which means for an extra $55, the bike will be dual battery ready. One of the biggest advantages to buying a bike like this is how you can pretty much ride it anywhere as long as you're not being inconsiderate. So I wanted to know if the REV1 could beat a pickup truck from one point to another using the REV1's gray area advantages.
Alright, so what we're gonna do is a scrambler race. We're gonna get from point A to point B and see who gets there the fastest, alright? Ready to go, Chevy boy?
1, 2, 3, go!
Oh man, the EcoBoost pickup truck, I'm gonna get in his way right here. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna be a cyclist and get in your way. I'm smoking him off the line. Where's he going? No! It's okay, he's got the legs on the roads, but I know a few shortcuts. Oh God, he might get me now. It's okay, I know a great shortcut. I just might get him. He's gonna get caught up at the light right here. So I'm gonna turn right. I gotta pedal. Oh, I almost grinded the pedal against the ground there. It's a fun thing to watch out for. All right, I got mostly full battery, so I should be able to reach top speed, even though I am on a slight incline. 32 mile an hour uphill. Gonna pick up some extra speed going down. I'm gonna cut through this park.
No, I know where he's gonna go. He's gonna cut across. Oh, come on, come on, come on. This is so stressful now.
All right, here we go.
Come on. People need to go.
Okay, I'm through. That saved me about 5 minutes, no traffic coming. Gotta make a left turn here. All right, I'm good, I'm good. All right, come on. Come on, little REVV1. I'm pedaling. I'm getting cardiovascular exercise. Oh, I got him. I'm gonna win this, easy, easy. That shortcut saved a lot of time. That's what's awesome about these bikes, man. You can go anywhere. People can't say anything to you because it's a bicycle. Almost went right into the back of that car. I was watching my speed. All right, crossing the bridge. And right by the frat house. That looks awful. No. Son of a ah, they got me. Oh.
Yeah!
Man, nice, you just
Totally beat your ass.
you didn't totally win, you just beat me. You got lucky with a light. Nah.
Hey, don't show your parents this. They might not appreciate it. Wait,
That's okay, they already know I'm a disappointment. This is just gonna further prove their point.
I don't think they'd appreciate how.
Yes. Dude, this thing sounds sick.
But you're still dressed like a baby. What we proved there is that you can get to point A to point B just as quickly on this as you could with a white pickup truck with a lunatic behind the wheel who is dressed like a 5-year-old. Right? So, good user information. That was also just a lot of fun. So,
I still won too, and John's salty about it.
So what kind of customer is the REVV1 for? If you're looking for something that is basically a small motorcycle that has none of the drawbacks of actually being a motorcycle, I would check this out. While it does have sporting capabilities, it's not really meant to do that. It's meant to just be chill and relaxing. Like this bike is kind of a lo-fi hip-hop track song. Is that good?
let me put it to you another way. I currently have a garage filled with electric motorcycles, right? Bikes that are much higher performing, way faster, way better off-road than this bike is, but I still found myself grabbing this thing and taking it out for a ride almost every night. No filming, no work involved, just for fun, just for a relaxing cruise. It just kind of says to you like, yeah, you know what, man, we can just chill tonight. What it is really great at, and why it stands out to me, is how good it is at riding uphill. I, for example, live in Beaumont, California. It's a very hilly area. As you can see, it's nothing super crazy, but it is very hilly. If you were to ride a normal bicycle up this hill by now, your thighs will just be getting torn apart by lactic acid. You'd be screaming in agony, pretending you enjoy this. Whereas with this, the REVV1, man, easy, no pedal at all. Even at a quarter of the battery left, it doesn't really have many issues. Now, I know a lot of people buy e-bikes, including my parents. They like e-bikes that kind of help them ride. They still get a bit of exercise from riding a bicycle, but the pedal assist, you know, makes it a lot easier for them. This, while it does have pedal assist, is not why you should be buying this bike, I'll be honest. The way that the pedal assist works on this bike is that it doesn't really help you, it just kind of does it for you. Does that make sense? If you're on pedal assist 1 or 2, it doesn't help you pedal, it just gives you a quarter section of the power. So think of the power of this bike as basically one big block. The pedal assist is kind of chopping it up into 5 pieces, and that's how it works. It's very simple. It's not good for exercise if that's what you're looking to do. Again, like I said 1,000 times in this video, this is a bike where you're gonna be mainly riding it with a throttle.
Let's talk about the pros. The biggest pro in my opinion is what I just mentioned. It's how well this bike handles hills, both on and off-road. Even on my E-Moto track, the REVV1 made it up without breaking too much of a sweat. I wouldn't say it made the trail its bitch or anything, but it was able to get up. A trail which my Super 73 RX could certainly not get up. I also found that even below 50% battery, it's able to pull up most inclines with ease on just the throttle alone. However, you will want to be in the downhill by around 25% battery. It's also a very comfortable bike thanks to its great seat and riding position, and those fat tires make for a very smooth ride. Its range is also excellent as well. Again, I found myself not really charging this thing all that much, and for the most part it matches the claimed range numbers by RIDE1UP. If you ride around on this bike in the Class 2 mode with pedal assist 1, you can easily get above 40 miles of range with this thing. It's pretty impressive. And finally, its price is super competitive against its competition. Again, RIDE1UP was able to stick to their promise of delivering great value for money. I would also like to mention that I did end up busting the rear shock doing something stupid, and RIDE1UP sent me a new one literally the next day. As far as I can see, RIDE1UP has a pretty stellar customer service reputation, and I think a lot of that is due to the fact that RIDE1UP is an actual legit US-based company. Let's talk about the cons. My only real complaint about the REV1 was its very firm and jittery suspension. When you're riding on the road, you don't really notice it all that much, and I would still have the full suspension over the hardtail. Obviously, you can't expect an Olin suspension setup from a $2,200 bike, but I was hoping for something a bit more cushy. I also found the quality of the brakes were a bit iffy, but overall their performance was good, so I guess I shouldn't complain about them too much. Apart from those two things, I don't really have any complaints about this bike. RIDE1UP nailed everything they wanted to deliver with this bike, and I can happily say that I agree with all the praise that this bike gets online. You will not be disappointed if you buy this bike, and even once I'm done filming with this thing, I'm going to be keeping it.